And whenever you're ready, Chair.
Okay, so it's 9:01, San Mateo County Planning Commission meeting of February 22nd, 2023 will please come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Janet, may we have the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Hanson,
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Here.
Commissioner Ketchum,
Here.
Commissioner Serrano Kwan,
Here.
Chair Gupta,
Here.
ever represented by Monowitz, Fox, and Montes. Thank you.
So next we have oral communications that will allow public to speak on any matter not on today's agenda. Janet, will you please explain the process to the public?
Yes, for those attending the meeting on the Zoom video conference, we will use the raised hand feature in order to organize any public comment. During the general public comment period and for each agenda item, I will ask those members of the public who wish to comment to click the raised hand feature to raise your hand to speak on that agenda item. For those joining by phone, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. Please note that members of the public must wait for my prompt in connection with each agenda item before using the raised hand function. For example, you cannot raise your hand at the beginning of a meeting for an agenda item that is later in the meeting. When you hear your name called, I'll prompt you to unmute your account and you may begin speaking. And then you will have 5 minutes in order to participate. So I think at this point, I don't see any hands raised, Chair, for this item, or actually, I do actually see one. So we're going to go ahead and unmute.
Go ahead.
The items not on the agenda, right? Okay, this is the caller calling last digits 1025. So we're going to head and unmute your microphone. Can you hear us?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hi, yes, thank you. I do have a comment regarding an item which is not on the agenda, if this is the appropriate time to speak.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lane McWilliams, and I am commenting on a project which involves the construction of a retaining wall and a regraded trail in close proximity to the entire western border of my residential property in Portola Valley. The APN number is 080-200-080, and the county file number is PLN 2022-00333. I am commenting specifically on the notice of grading permit application submitted by the Mid-Peninsula Region Open Space District. Due to the safety concerns involved, I appreciate the ability to speak to the Commission. My comments follow. I stand as a whistleblower of FBI malfeasance, and I appreciate your forbearance because this is related to this particular proposal before the Planning Commission. As a whistleblower of FBI malfeasance, I have received specific threats concerning the involvement of the FBI and InfraGard, which is the civilian arm of the FBI, in funding this MROSD project, which is contiguous to my property. Chief among the threats I have received pertaining to this project is that of arson leading to a wildfire event. My property sits on a steep slope, and the MROSD proposal involves work that is to be conducted very near to the low point of this incline. Under certain conditions in the summer and autumn, when this work is scheduled, this represents an extremely high fire hazard area. The Planning Commission has an interest in ascertaining whether this project is one that could endanger the welfare of lives and property within San Mateo County. Specific questions for the Planning Commission at this time involve the following. Number one, has the necessary time period for public comment on this project been upheld? This permit application was filed on November 3rd, 2022, 3.5 months ago. Even so, the letter I received from project planner Camille Leung was not mailed until February 13th, 2023, with a decision date of February 28th, 2023. Under these circumstances, I do not believe 2 weeks represents a sufficient time period for public comment. More information about this project is needed. Question number 2, have any funds for this project been provided by the FBI and/or Infraguard, either directly to MROSD or indirectly through Santa Clara County or San Mateo County? $272,000 for this project have been routed through a grant from Santa Clara County, which is highly unusual given that the trail involved does not cross over into Santa Clara County at any point. I am very suspicious about the source of those funds, and I think that bears some investigation, the original source of those funds. Number 3, does the San Mateo County Planning Commission believe that it is acceptable for a whistleblower of FBI malfeasance to be receiving threats of wildfire and other grievous harms related to criminal trespass connected to this MROSD project? Number 4, is project planner Camille Leung willing to reveal to the Planning Commission whether she herself is signatory to Infraguard? In other words, has she accepted any compensation from FBI affiliates in order to handle this project in a manner that shortens the public comment period or waives consideration of public safety concerns? Number 5, if this project is approved and then harm comes to my property, to my family, or to me, as the result of wildfire or other harms related to criminal trespass facilitated by this MROSD project, is San Mateo County willing to assume liability for those harms in total, given that the county has been given advance notice of the high potential for corruption within this particular proposal? Number 6, is the Planning Commission willing to speak directly to investigators from the Office of the Inspector General Hotline of the U.S. Department of Justice regarding all it knows of FBI and Infraguard communications pertaining to this project, my property, and my family? Number 7, how can corruption of public projects through payoffs from the FBI and Infraguard be prevented within San Mateo County in the future? Should public officials ever be allowed to accept compensation in order to handle public projects according to the directives of corrupt federal officials who have no interest in the welfare of San Mateo County residents or property? I would respectfully ask the Planning Commission to allow this project to be thoroughly investigated prior to granting approval of this proposal. As I mentioned, the Office of the Inspector General Hotline of the U.S. Department of Justice, the Investigations Division, is currently fully engaged in this matter of FBI malfeasance. I believe this project falls squarely within their concerns. And again, I respectfully ask the Planning Commission to allow more time for this project to be thoroughly investigated prior to granting approval. Thank you very much for your attention to these concerns. Again, my name is Lane McWilliams.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Is there,
Other than that, Chair, there are no other hands raised for this item.
thank you. So at this time, we close the oral communications. Would Director Monovitz or our council like to comment?
Yeah, I'll respond real quickly and let the caller know that she's welcome to forward her questions directly to me by email. That's smmonowitz@smcgov.org. Be happy to provide a written response. I can assure you that there has been no acceptance of any monies by the staff of the Planning and Building Department, and we stand ready and able to cooperate with any investigations that are ongoing.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Monovitz. Okay. So next we move on to our consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda. Would any commissioners?
Can I make a comment regarding to this this person's comments?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Mr. Manowitz, I mean, these are some serious charges that that she's bringing forward. Can you keep us informed as this moves forward?
Yes, I'll be happy to provide you with an update at our next meeting.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
As a follow-up, yeah, are you done, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, I am done. Yeah.
Okay. Is this a project that had come to us in the past?
I don't believe so. I haven't had a chance to look through the case, but by the description from the caller, it sounds like this was a staff level decision that was made. Grading to establish a public recreation trail and installation of a retaining wall generally is not a controversial matter. So these allegations of corruption and malfeasance are something that is totally kind of came out of the blue for me this morning. And so we're always happy to cooperate, but at this point, that's all they are, as allegations.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. So we move on to consent agenda. Would any commissioners like to pull any items out of the consent agenda?
No.
No. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Second. Roll call, Janet?
Commissioner Ketchum,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Serrano Kwan,
Aye.
Chair Gupta.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Okay. So next is our regular agenda, item number 3. Janet, would you please read that into the record?
Sure, we have item number 3, owner Edwin Medios, applicant Mark Bocelli. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but file number PLN 2021-00189. And our project planner is Erica Adams. Erica?
Yes, one moment here, please. Trying to find. Don't see the. Sorry, don't have my reading glasses. I think that's not the.
Are you trying to share your screen, Erica?
Yeah, but let's see. Hold on. My screen is lost. iPad. Hold on.
I have it too. If you can't do it, I can.
I know I tweaked it just a little bit more, but I might go to yours if I can't find it. Hold on. I was thinking this was in person today, so I wasn't really thinking that. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. I think that does it. Is it up?
Yes.
Can you make it bigger? Can you do like
Yes.
the slideshow type presentation? There you go. Perfect. Okay.
Is it okay? It's
You're
there.
good.
Okay, great. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, planning commissioners, county staff, and members of the public. My name is Erica Adams with the Planning and Building Department. Today, I'm presenting planning case PLN 2021-00189. Project is located at 211 Hillcrest Drive, and the owners are Edwin and Laurel Medios. Applicant is Mark Bucarelli. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. The application is to consider a project for design review permit and non-conforming use permit for an 895 square foot new second story addition to an existing 1,445 square foot non-conforming single family residence with a proposed detached 377 square foot garage, which was processed under a separate permit on a 9,377 square foot non-conforming parcel. The non-conforming use permit is required to allow a major remodel, which is greater than 50% in valuation, to a non-conforming residence with an existing 3-foot front setback where 20 foot is the minimum, and there will be no significant trees to be removed. The project includes 2 elements of construction, which would be the new second story, 895 square feet, and the 2-car garage under a separate permit. The 2-car garage is required to allow the expansion of the house and allow the project to meet the parking requirements. This is the parcel. It's bifurcated by the San Francisco public utilities right away, which is this. And this is a little clearer to illustrate that to you. So here's the subject house and the right of way here. This is a rendering of the house with the proposed second story. This is the site plan of the project, the house, and I'm afraid to do this, but I'm going to try to go in so you can see. Whoops. They have outlined the footprint of the second story on the plans, and you can see how they've made an attempt to have it comply with the existing Emerald Lake Hill, the residential hillside zoning, having a 20-foot setback, tucking it in here to have a 7.5-foot setback. And then on this side, they're matching the existing setback, which is non-conforming right here. Let's see if I can put that back. Sorry, let me get it back to page. There we go. Okay, here are the elevations, existing elevations for the house. What the architect refers to as well, it is the front, but kind of on the property, it kind of appears to the side, but and these are the proposed elevations, where you see the second story sits directly over the existing footprint of the house, and the proposed color is a gray with hardy plank. These are the floor plans, existing and demolition. And then the proposed floor plans. Again, you can see that the project's been set back to meet the current zoning. Here's a photograph of the house. This is the side that will have the non-conforming side setback. It's the other side of the house. So the project requires 2 permits, the design review and the non-conforming use permit. The project was reviewed by the design review officer in June of last year, and the non-conforming permit has exceptions to allow the front setback to remain, the combined substandard side setbacks to remain, and then the addition of the second story to have the right setback at 6.5 feet. So the project was heard on June 7th of last year and received a recommendation for approval based on the design review standards. The key aspects of compliance with the design reviews for this project were that there's no tree removal, topography is not going to be altered. The project has a minimal impact on privacy. The colors and materials blend with the natural setting and are compatible with the neighborhood, and the roof will be pitched. The majority of the roof, but some of the roof coming is a little flat. The proposed development requires, as I said, the non-conforming use permit to allow the 3-foot setback in the front to remain and the non-conforming side setbacks, and also to allow the right side to have that 6.5 foot. So the findings for the use permits are in the staff report. I've just listed them here, but I'll go through them quickly. So the first one, that the proposed development is proportioned to the size of the parcel. There's no request for the project to exceed the allowed FAR or lot coverage. The parcel is allowed by zoning, a 2,400 square foot house, and they are under that, and that includes the garage. The proposed lot coverage is 24.1%, and the nonconformities are existing except for the second story. That the opportunities to acquire the contiguous land have been exhausted. As you know, the SFPUC holds one of the properties, and they are not interested in releasing any land to the adjacent property. And then on the other side, the other property is developed and the parcel is substandard in addition to that. The applicant did indicate on their application that they had asked the other parcel if they would be willing to provide any additional land. And I will note that it's on the wrong side of the property to allow conformance on with this proposal. The proposed development is as nearly in conformance with the zoning as reasonably possible. So the only exception, the new exception being requested, is that the second story maintain the same setback, as the existing house on the right side. Everything else is existing. And as I indicated earlier, the applicant has tried to make the property, the addition conform to the existing zoning regulations. The establishment of maintenance is not detrimental to the public or injurious to private improvements. None of the reviewing agencies raised concerns about the project, and coastal resources are not impacted. And the design was determined by the design review officer to be compatible with surrounding residences. And that the use permit does not grant any special privileges. So the proposal is for an addition to a single family residence, and the parcel is zoned for single family residences. And the exceptions are similar to those that are granted for substandard parcels with the SFPUC right-of-way constraints. So in conclusion, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the design review permit for the non-conforming use permit for file PLN 2021-00189 based on and subject to the required findings and conditions of approval listed in attachment A. That concludes my presentation, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Adams. So, commissioners have questions for Ms. Adams. Commissioner Ramirez?
Thank you, Ms. Gupta. I don't have any questions at the moment.
Commissioner Hanson?
No questions.
Commissioner Serrano-Kwan?
I have no questions.
Commissioner Ketchum?
Yeah, I have a question about the driveway access. It's not shown on the plans, and perhaps it's discussed with the other permits for the garage or whatever, but yeah, I'd just like to understand, what's the current surface? Will it be paved? How will that be formalized? Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the driveway there. I see
yeah,
evidence of it in the
This
photography.
yeah, sure. The property receives access to their property via an easement on the SFPUC right of way, and they're not going to be able to put any improvements. So they're using what is there. It is not paved. They're not, you know, it's not owned by the property owners. So they are not able to put any additional improvements on SFPUC. So but they do have access to use it to access their site. I think on the photos, you could see how they're using, you know, whoops, where's.
It looks like they're actually parking there.
Yeah, so no developments, but you're able to drive there.
So the pavement that you see in the aerial photo, is that then owned by the PUC? Is that for their use? Looks like there's pavement going to the neighboring or something.
Right, they're not gonna be able to, as far as I know, and in talking to SFPUC, do any, they haven't been approved for any like paving or in expanding of this driveway. It has been reviewed by fire. I mean, fire can access this house from the street so close. But there's no proposal to put in a new driveway.
Okay, thank you.
But they will have a garage back here, so they'll be pulling in and parking.
So presumably the ground is firm enough that this is not going to be an issue? If it get a lot of rain, then there's no.
I don't know that that has been an issue.
So that wasn't discussed in the permitting for the garage or anything?
No, the garage is, well, planning wouldn't necessarily be looking at that. That would be, and it's actually private property. So it's really up to SPUC because it's not tied to a county maintained road, and it's not tied to, and it's on private property essentially. So they have the right for the easement, and if they are having problems, they would have to address that with SFPUC.
Okay, well, it's interesting that that wouldn't be settled before they get a permit to put the garage there, but anyway, thanks.
Well, I can say that SFPUC has reviewed the garage permit, so you know that.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
One more thing. The just so you know, the condition of approval number 14, the link doesn't work. It takes you to page not found.
Oh, okay. I changed it, and then
Into the
they might have changed it again because we changed it one time, and
yeah,
then,
there have been a lot of changes last year with the county site. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Commissioner Ketchum. I had a couple of questions. So we keep reading about this two-car garage. And you mentioned that PUC has not approved it, or you don't know whether they have
No,
approved
that's
it?
not what I said. I said, actually, they've reviewed the plans. So the garage is small enough that it doesn't need like a hearing level approval. It's a detached structure.
Okay.
And so it was under a separate permit. I believe that they wanted to have that constructed for maybe storage while they're doing construction on the house. So they wanted to do that first.
So is the garage there, or
No, it's not there. It's not
No.
there. Yeah.
It's not there.
It's not
Okay, but the access to the garage as a garage, like any vehicles, they will be using the PUC property, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. They will be going over that.
Yes.
Okay,
That is the access to the property.
that is.
They have a legal agreement to have access only, not development ability, but access over the SFPUC right away to gain access to their property.
Okay, while you have this slide up there, can you point where exactly is the garage going to be? Do you know?
It's behind the house. It's like right about here.
Right, okay. Because all these pictures, they are very vague.
The best one is there was a site plan, I think, at some point, or maybe, oops.
Yeah, there's a little box somewhere.
That's it.
Yeah, oh, this one here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. So it's this one. here.
Future two-car
Right.
garage, yeah.
Yeah, okay, future garage, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And so the owner owns these two pieces, south and north.
Right,
that
yes.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
And they do not own this PUC 60-foot wide piece that's in between.
No, they do not.
They do not own that. Okay. Well and good. Okay. So that takes me to the actual design of the house that they are what they are applying for a permit. So on page, I think it's page 7, you have this table where we have all the numbers. So could we go to that? I have some questions about that.
Okay, well, you're talking about zoning regulations?
Yeah, it says conformance with the zoning regulations. Yeah,
Go ahead. I can't pull it up here, but
you can pull it up.
no,
Okay.
it's not part of my presentation.
Okay. So the question I have is, what is the difference? Like what is included in maximum lot coverage and maximum building floor area? Because these numbers are kind of not making sense to me. If in the last column of these two items.
Okay, so, well, lot coverage is like the footprint of a development. If you're just like this aerial. And so we would draw lines around everything that's over 18 inches from the grade, natural grade. So that's the footprint. So, but floor area is actually more living space. So lot coverage doesn't capture the second story because it's all in the same footprint, but then floor area would capture the second story.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So if we look at the existing the column which says existing, it
Uh-huh.
says that the lot coverage is 1,828 square feet.
Uh-huh.
I thought the home was only 1,400 some square feet.
That includes the garage.
And
Which
if
is
we
another
add the garage,
377 square feet. I'm sorry, so there's more of, sorry, the lot coverage for existing includes all of this deck work. And so it's not as I was saying, lot coverage is different than living area. So this deck, some of that stuff I think is going to be removed, but all of that, and I
okay,
think
so there's some deck.
I don't have the survey up here, but I think that there was a little structure that is also going to be removed. So you'd have to, there's a survey attached to, and there, I don't have the survey here. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, so but that would be why. You
Okay,
have to look at the existing site plan. I think this is the proposed site plan.
okay. Yeah, you may like to review these because if we look at the last column, and if we look at maximum lot coverage, the difference between maximum lot coverage and maximum building floor area, the difference I would think would be the size of the second floor, but it's not.
No, so as I said before, lot coverage wouldn't capture the second floor ever, because it's completely captured by the footprint of the first floor. So lot
Absolutely.
coverage is never going to have the second story involved. It's only floor area will change with the addition of a second story.
Right. So the building floor area should have the second floor, correct?
The building floor area does have the second story and the garage included.
Right. But the difference between the two is only 400 square feet, which is not making sense.
The difference between the two of what? The
Between-
difference
Between the maximum lot coverage.
there's, let's see, go to.
Yeah, it's too
There's
bad that you put that.
but I'm confident on my numbers. There's a difference. There's a little bit of demolition going on. So there's a little bit of demolition going on the house. And so they're taking away a little bit so that they can get what they want. I can't get to.
Okay.
I can't.
Right.
It's going to be, yeah. Proposed, I'm trying to get to the first floor.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is not adding up, but if there are some things that are part of your survey which are not included in here.
Oh, this isn't, I didn't have the survey in the presentation. I had only the site plan. So I'd have to go, yeah, but my numbers and the architect's numbers are the same. So I don't have doubt in them. If you want me to send you an email later explaining everything, I can, but I don't have any doubt in them. I can't do it right now on the fly. I'm sorry.
But they still fall within the zoning requirement, correct?
Yes.
Because to me, it looks like that this the maximum lot coverage in proposed under the column proposed should be lower.
Chair Gupta, if I may suggest,
Yes.
perhaps the applicant's architect can have a
Explain
moment to
that.
speak and to address this issue.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you, Director Barnabas. Okay, so I do not have any other question here. Okay, did any of the commissioners have anything else? Otherwise, oh, okay. So then we will have the applicant speak. Is the applicant here?
Erica,
They have 15 minutes.
Erica, you know who your applicant? I still see someone with their hand raised on the attendee side, and I'm not sure if that's your applicant or not.
I don't know.
So I think you can go ahead
Can't
and
see,
allow them.
I don't have the ability to see who's in the room.
Okay, let me go ahead and just double check.
Okay.
1 second. Okay, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm Mark Bucarelli, the architect, and I think Erica explained everything beautifully. Whatever questions you have, I'd be happy to try to answer. But I think the issue on the lot coverage is that at the second floor, there's a cantilevered room portion, and then also the adjacent deck is also cantilevered. And we counted that as toward the lot coverage because it's shadow, it's footprint. Ordinarily, like Erica explained, the first floor footprint is going to be your governing lot coverage number. But in this case, there's these slight cantilevered portions, and maybe that's the explanation in the area difference.
Okay.
And
Thank
you could see it on the proposed first floor and the second floor both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Of course. Of course.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add in terms of your presentation or?
Mr. Bugarelli, I believe that question was addressed to you. Do you have any additional comments on the application? It looks like he's
muted.
Yeah, Janice.
You are muted,
I know,
Mr. Bucarelli.
I've unmuted him, but he's not.
Okay. Can you hear me?
There
Yeah.
you go. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So so I was saying, if you have any questions, but Erica really covered all the bullet points there. So yeah, whatever questions you have.
Okay. Did commissioners have any questions for the architect?
I think I do.
Commissioner Ramirez, go ahead.
Yeah. Or maybe even the owner here. So that since this lot gets a split in the middle, and then you have a little wedge up at the top there, and the other one. Does the owner have an easement, rights to an easement to get so that they can use that back area also, or is it only for to come into the garage or the proposed garage in the future, or so does the owner get to use that land of SFPUC? Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, as far as I know, yes, it's no different than the main big sliver. And they do have the right to access the small sliver. It's just that it's, you know, such an odd piece. It's, you know, not really developable for anything. But it is theirs, and who knows? You know, they could have something, you know, in the future, or, you know, just make it a green space or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, because it's just kind of odd, and you know, if my question is more of you know, hopefully it's not landlocked.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
So anyway, that's yeah, it's, you know, not relevant to what we're discussing, but just I was interested on knowing something about that. Okay, no more questions from me. Thank you.
Commissioner Hanson, anything for you?
No more questions.
Commissioner Ketchum,
Nothing for me, thanks.
Commissioner Saranoff-Kwan? I don't have any other question either. Thank you. So at this time, we'll open it up for any public speakers.
Okay, we're now opening up for public comment. If your hand is raised, your name will be called. At the moment, I don't see anybody with their hand raised, Chair.
Okay,
Seeing none.
so in that case, we'll close the public comments. Commissioners, you are, if you would like to add any comments, any deliberations, Commissioner Ramirez?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that the architect has tried to, you know, make the most out of their situation. In this area, we're always going to have, because of the topography, I think it's always a challenge to build in this area. Adding, normally without the SFPUC cutting right through the middle of your lot. And I've actually been, you know, I'm well aware, like throughout where this thing's, the SFPUC land comes through, because that's where all the water lines come through. They just dissect the neighborhoods, one lot after the other. And it's always very challenging to develop right next to them. So with that, I'm just going to say, yes, I am going to support the project, because I think they've done as much as they can to conform to the rules and regulations. That's it.
Commissioner Hanson?
Hi, yeah, I agree with Commissioner Ramirez. They had a challenge. I think they met the challenge. I think I thought they did very well with what little they had to deal with. And I thought they did a good job at it, but it is, and I hope they're successful in getting this approved by this commission.
Thank you. Commissioner Saranoff-Kwan?
I have no further comments or questions. I agree with the commissioners and approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Ketchum?
I support the project.
Thank you. Yeah, it definitely is a challenge. This is, it's interesting to see how they have come up with the design. Especially this property has been, the residence has been there for almost 100 years. That's what the history says. So I think they've done a good job without having to remove any trees. So I'm in support of the project. So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. I move to approve the design review permit and non-conforming use permit for county file number PLN 2021-00189, based on and subject to the required findings and conditions of approval listed in attachment A of the staff report.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Janet?
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Ketchum,
Aye.
Commissioner Serrano Kwan,
Aye.
Chair Gupta.
Aye.
Thank you. Item passes.
Congratulations. The motion passes. So we move on to correspondence and other matters.
Thank you, Chair Gupta. I do not have any correspondence to report to you today.
Next, we
As
have
far as next
study
meeting
session.
goes, yes. Moving on to item 5, we do not have any study session planned for the next meeting, but we will be bringing the long-range work program to the Planning Commission at the following meeting. That's the March 22nd meeting. We do have 2 items on the first meeting in March, and that's a grading and design review permit for a new residence in Palomar Park, as well as a coastal development design review and non-conforming use permit for a new residence in Miramar on the coast side.
Director's report.
Yes, I just have a short report for you today, and it's to just confirm that our first meeting in March will be in person at the board chambers. We are making an effort to accommodate public participation from remote locations, but whether or not we'll be able to do that at the first meeting in March is still unknown, but we are certainly working towards accommodating that moving forward. So we have some logistical challenges to overcome in terms of making that happen, but that is our intent. But for now, anybody who has interest in the items coming to the Planning Commission at the first meeting in March should plan on participating in person.
Okay.
When is the exact date in March for the first meeting?
Yes, let me pull it up on the calendar here, unless Janet, you have it off the top of your head.
March 8th, followed
Yes,
by March 22nd. And by Friday, you should be receiving your parking pass along with instructions. Should be getting that in the mail.
Question on that. So we are having a meeting on March 8th because Steve, you mentioned the 22nd. So I'm just wanting to make sure.
oh yes, I only brought that up because on the matter of study session, we won't have one at the next meeting, but we will have one at the following meeting.
Got it. So we do have a meeting on the 8th.
Correct. And that's where we have the 2 new homes I mentioned, one in Palomar Park and one in Miramar.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So right now, what we are working on in terms of public participation would be through video, or it would be by phone?
Well, it would be very similar to the way in which the Board of Supervisors have been accommodating public participation. And that would be that you could join via Zoom through your computer, or you could call in by phone.
Okay.
So the good thing for the Planning Commission is because we conduct our hearings in the board chambers, the technology is there. What we are missing is the audio video staff that the Board of Supervisors uses to make sure that all that technology is used successfully. And so those are the arrangements that we need to make in order to accommodate public participation at the Planning Commission meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So do commissioners have any questions for Director Manovitz?
I have one
Commissioner-
final, yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have one final thing. And just thinking back until Ms. McWilliams' complaints, I don't want to get too further into it in this meeting, but I do have some concerns because it was brought up to this body. And we have a duty to respond to it. And so I was just wondering what if this complaint was brought up to our planning department previously, and what are the next actions regarding this?
Yeah, to my knowledge, this is the first time that we've ever heard such allegations. What our response will be number one, to confirm that the permit application was processed in accordance with our regulations, which I think is safe to presume it was. And then we will respond in writing to any questions that Ms. McWilliams is willing to send us. We can also follow up with the project applicant to discuss what, if anything, they know about these concerns. It's the concerns expressed are really kind of outside of the realm of planning and building issues. When we review a project, we look at the way in which it's been laid out on the site. We look at things like construction methods, erosion control, habitat protection. And we process permits for the Mid-Peninsula Open Space and Recreation District fairly regularly. And these types of allegations that were made this morning are highly unusual and something that we can look into. But at this point, I really don't have more to say on that.
I understand. I just want to make sure that we're well protected, and at least we've done our due diligence, because she did mention a specific staff name, and I was very uncomfortable with the whole conversation because we haven't heard anything about this. So I just want to make a note of that. I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner Ketchum.
I just have a question about the Planning Commission videos as posted on the website. We don't have any posted there yet for this year, and if I could understand the process for posting these, is there anything we can do to help expedite this?
Actually, Commissioner Ketchum, on the bright side, and I think this will be the solution to our problem, we now have a new IT person working in our planning and building department, and that he's now able to upload these videos onto YouTube. And I think that was just recently known, instead of waiting, the allotted time, because you're right, I don't have these two videos ready, which that's why they're not uploaded. And so we're missing two, January 25th and February 8th. And so, so now that we have these, I'm going ahead and send them. And so hopefully like it'll be a fast turnaround, maybe like a day or two, and have them back on the website as soon as possible.
So I'm aware that they are posted on YouTube fairly promptly, but it's often difficult to find them there. And does this IT person post everything that goes on the planning commission page, or are you able to do some of that directly yourself?
I do it directly myself. So I, when he sends me the link to the YouTube site, that's where I go into our website and plug it in. And so the person that actually does the YouTube upload, I guess, automatically will upload to the county YouTube page. So it's two different, I think it's two different sites that we're looking at.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing that I'd add is we're exploring the ability to move into the same platform that the Board of Supervisor uses, that they use for archiving their agendas and meeting videos. And I'm optimistic that we'll be able to do that. And I believe that will improve the ability to get a link to the video more promptly, but I will work with Janeth and our IT staff to make sure that we're doing it as quickly as we can in the meantime.
On that idea, we're moving to the board site. So if this future layout could include having the minutes posted with the meeting that they cover, that would be a great assistance to anybody trying to find out. For example, when I came on the planning commission, I wanted to go back and look at the previous year's minutes, and it was kind of tricky to find them. So I think that's how I'm not sure. I know the Coastal Commission has all that stuff all on the same page. But yeah, if you could have the video and the minutes with the meeting and even the letters of decision. In fact, this, at the moment, those are kind of pasted into the minutes. It would be much more useful to have the actual, instead of doing that, to have the actual letter of decision go with the meeting. All those in the same. I just think of the Coastal Commission as the ideal. It's so easy to go and research anything there. Just to keep that in mind if you're adjusting your process.
Will do. I appreciate those suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. So, okay, if no other questions, comments, then the meeting is adjourned.
Great. See you next meeting.
See you next time
In person.
in person. Okay.
All right.